Yo, boys, I know a lot of us have been trying to get jacked, we've been bulking up, but sometimes with all that bulkiness, we get a little fluffy, right? The kurta pajama, the wedding suits don't fit anymore. So having a little bit of a mini cut goes a long way in recreating like some motivation, because you get vascularity, like look jacked again. If you guys don't know, I'm already doing a mini cut if you have been following the series. But yeah, basically this video is for you if you've been bulking for a little bit and you don't notice too much fluff. Or you're starting to notice that your appetite is getting a little blunt, you just can't eat anymore. Or you know what, you just want to be like, yo, I just want to get leaner a little bit for some trips or weddings or things coming up in the next like 4 to 6 weeks, right? So that's what the mini cut's for per se. But then I'm gonna dive into the main things today will be, okay, what actually is it? When should you implement it? Who is it for? And then some rules, and then I'll go over some mistakes to avoid, but also what kind of training and nutrition and stuff should look like. And I do want to apologize for my handwriting. My handwriting is not the juiciest, my bad, right? So, okay, so what is a mini cut? A mini cut is a quick and aggressive cut that, lasts anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. I wouldn't really prolong anything more than 6 weeks, and I wouldn't even classify it as a mini cut. If you're at a place where you're just high body fat, you're trying to do a cut, just go on a nice little 20 to 24 week cut. That's what I would recommend. But for a mini cut, staying on track, the goal is, or what is it? Is it quick? It's aggressive, and the main goal is to maintain your muscle mass, but get some shape back, get some vascularity back, and lose some fluff. So clothes fit better, you feel better, feel more confident, especially in the summertime, right? So that's what mini cut is. The goal is just to lose some fluff, gain some appetite again. And then when do you recommend it? I would personally recommend it if you've been bulking for a long time, right? And you're starting to notice like you're getting a little fluffy, shirts are not fitting well. And then I would kind of put the mini cut in there as a way to like resensitize your body to more calories, right? Because you're gonna start eating a little bit less, right? So then after that, you're gonna be like, okay, cool. I'm gonna start, lowering my calories. I'm gonna mini cut whatever. And then after, when you get back to your bulk, your body will crave food again. So you'll be able to start your lean gain phase again. But also when you start this lean gain phase again, you're gonna have less fluff on you. So you have a longer runway of progression, right? So I would do it between bulks, or if you notice like, you have a trip coming up in 4 weeks or you have a wedding coming up, whatever, you just want to look nice and good, do a mini cut. You got a little photo shoot, do a mini cut. You got a beach party in like 4 or 5 weeks, you got to impress Preeti, do a mini cut. That's cool. I'm okay with that, okay? But the key for the mini cut is you need to already have some baseline of muscle, right? Like you want to have some sort of gains already. Because if you don't have any gains, what happens is like you do a mini cut and you just kind of like look the same, but like deflated. So make sure you have some muscle mass before going into a mini cut. If that's probably another video, but if you're just getting started, just focus on muscle, okay? And then who is it for? So I've already kind of mentioned that, but if you're starting to feel soft, if you're starting to notice like your tits hanging over, right? If you're starting to notice like, or you're just in a place where you want to see what you have built so far, like you've been, bulking, you just want to see where the gains are at, like how are your shoulders coming in, back's coming in, are you actually getting jacked or not? It's great for that, right? If you want to actually just see what you have built in the next 4 to 6 weeks, okay? So a couple of rules when it comes to mini cuts, okay? I'll move this in this direction. Number 1 rule is obviously you want to keep your protein high. I would go as up to like 1.2, 1.4 grams of protein per pound. If you're vegetarian, it could be a little bit tougher to do that, but 1 to 1.4 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And the reason I say that is protein is going to have a lot of benefits, right? Obviously, it'll help you maintain performance in the gym. It'll help you recover still. It'll also satiate you. So you have all these, it's all great for cognitive function, brain health, all that stuff, but it's gonna help you make sure your muscle mass is there, which is important when you're in a cutting phase, okay? Number 2, I would go a little bit aggressive. So I would go from like 5 to like 750, even 1,000 maybe, depending on what your body weight is, off a deficit from your maintenance. And this can be done 2 ways. Either you can do it so on a weekly basis, you take your calorie intake for the day, right? Or for the week. So say like you have 2,500 calories. 2,500 times 7, whatever that number is. If it's, like, it's not 25,000, whatever, say it's 20,000, right? For the week, 20,000 for the week, that's your calorie average. Either you just break it down between 7 days, or you do it so your training day calories a little bit higher, non-training days a calorie a bit lower, and that way you can average it out, right, to that 20,000 mark for the week, which puts you in a deficit for the mini cut, okay? So the way I'm doing it right now is like I hit 2,400 calories on my gym days, and then I do 1,900 calories on my non-gym days. This puts me in a good amount of deficit where I'll drop anywhere to 1.5 to 2 pounds a week, okay? And then the third part is gym performance is major key. Just because you're cutting doesn't mean you should lose strength. That's probably one of the biggest fallacies out there. It's like, yo, oh, I'm cutting now, bro, so I should get weaker. You should not get weaker, okay? If your pre-post workout, intra-workout nutrition is good, if your training volume is consistent and you're just tracking your numbers, you're slowly beating them still, you should continue that progress for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Maybe by the 6th week, you may feel a little bit drained, but you should not be dropping performance whatsoever. If anything, I would just lower your volume a little bit. That's it, okay? Cardio and steps, depending on how your recovery is, I would kind of full send on it. I wouldn't overdo it, but I would definitely get a little aggressive with the cardio and steps if you have the time for it. Steps ends up being a low fatigue way of getting your movement in. So having a walking pad or going for a walk, especially in the summertime, walking your dog, game changer. Like I would recommend anywhere from like 10 to 15K steps. You push that 15K without feeling too fatigued, I would 100% do that. And cardio anywhere 3 to 4 times a week with 30 to 40 minutes, okay? Stairmaster if you can. Lastly, track everything and get your sleep in. So the reason this is important is because we're going on this short sprint, right? Like we want to make sure these next 4 weeks actually count. We don't want to waste these 4 to 6 weeks. So every week there has to be progress. So we can't go on this, some of you guys like, diet forever. Some you guys know in your families, you go to an event, this person's like, yeah, bro, I'm still on a diet, I'm still on this. And it's been like years and years because they constantly go in waves. For this mini cut, I want you to dial in. Be like, you know what? For these next 4 to 6 weeks, I'm going to stick to my caloric intake. I'm going to say no to certain things, maybe some social events. I'm going to stay dialed in the whole time. So I'm going to make this cut as efficient as possible. Just locking in for these 4 to 6 weeks, you can drop anywhere from like 10 pounds to like 15 pounds depending on your body weight. You know what I'm saying? So getting your most bang for your buck in these next 4 to 6 weeks not only helps you build discipline, but you also get pretty lean, which is nice. So please dial in, track everything. Some examples for meals, pretty basic stuff, but you don't have to overcomplicate it. You don't have to like starve yourself, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the mistakes I'll talk about too. But meals wise, like in the morning, some sort of eggs, pineapple, dough, that's blessed, right? Depending on when you work out. Ideally, you want to have lesser fats around your workout, more carbs and more protein. But yeah, just sample meals. You can do something like whey, oats, and fruit. You can do some sort of like chicken, sabji, and rice with avocado. You can do some sort of Greek yogurt with some almond butter, some seeds, some fruit. You can do some chicken tikka with potatoes, right? With some like veg on the side, for example. So just some sample meals, easy. Make sure you track your calories. An easy training split you can implement is actually one thing. With the calories, biggest thing is you want to have a good amount of macronutrients. What I mean by this is a good amount of fruits and vegetables. The more amount of fruit and vegetables you have, you'll feel more satiated, so you feel fuller during the cut. And that way, like, the foods will obviously make you feel good and nourished, but also your strength in the gym will stay good as well, because you're still giving your body nutrients. It doesn't know it's in a crazy deficit yet, okay? So yeah, that's what I would do with meals and rules for training in general, or rules for meals in general. And then training-wise, don't overcomplicate it. Whatever you're doing right now, you can just continue doing that for your bulk, right? Like whatever training split you have for your bulk, you can continue that. My go-to splits usually are like push-pull legs upper with cardio, or like a push-pull legs upper lower, and with cardio as well. Just make sure you track your numbers, track your performance, and just make sure every day you just kind of check those boxes in, right? So I would just do that and make sure your performance continues to improve. No ego lifting. If you gotta drop weight somewhere a little bit, that's okay, but I would try to keep the weights performance as high as possible the entire time, okay? So training split, don't overcomplicate it. Follow what you have, just keep improving your performance. The cut's gonna happen through the nutrition and the cardio part. We're not really here to build muscle right now, we just wanna maintain it. And then mistakes to avoid. So number one, you don't have to starve yourself. Like I see this ridiculous strategy for like mini cuts, because you really don't have to do this, is like people just end up not eating anything, right? It's like, yo, you don't have to do that. If your goal is to have a sick physique, you do want to have nutrients in the system, right? So as long as you're in that 750, 500 calorie deficit, you'll be fine. 1 to 2% of body weight weekly, okay? So if that's not going down on a weekly basis, right, you're doing something wrong. You need to adjust your calories, adjust your cardio, okay? I know some people, yo, I see the physical change, I feel this, feel that, which is important. Yes, I get it, right? But if you've been bulking for a long time, when you start your mini cut, you should be dropping weight, 100%. So if that's not happening, you gotta tweak something. And cardio, some people overdo this with cardio as well, right? Like you don't have to go ham on the cardio. You can do 3 to 4 sessions, but this is where tracking everything right here that I mentioned is really important, because if you're tracking your pictures, you're tracking all your steps, you're tracking calories, then you know exactly what progress you're making, not making, right? So as long as you're tracking stuff, you'll notice you don't need to overdo the cardio. And then last few things is like, yo, training intensity doesn't need to drop. A lot of people are like, yo, I'm getting weaker on a cut. You don't need to get weaker on a cut. You can keep getting stronger if you really wanted to. Like on this mini cut that I'm on, I've been getting stronger still on most of my lifts. Certain lifts have dropped slightly, but I've just dropped some reps here and there, right? But weight has stayed the same for everything. Okay, so understand, you don't have to drop training intensity whatsoever. 4 to 6 weeks, nothing longer than that. If you go more than 6 weeks, I would not call that mini cut. Okay, bro? It's just a cut. So it's fine. That's fine too. There's nothing wrong with it, but I would probably not be as aggressive with a longer term cut. And then checklist, okay? Actually, that's really important. But a lot of us get really aggressive for normal cuts, and then we burn out really quick, and then we bounce back really quick too. So please don't make that mistake. Checklist. First off, know your maintenance calories. So what are your maintenance calories? Figure that out first. Secondly, go down 500 to 700 from that maintenance calories. That'll be your deficit calories for the mini cut. Deficit calories, right? Set your protein and macros. Make sure protein is high, and then adjust the carbs and fats around it based on preference. I would revolve majority of your carbs on your training days and around your training window. And then make sure you prep your meals, plan your meals ahead of time. Don't be guessing things, right? And just make sure that like your social events that do come in for the summertime, manipulate your calories too. You don't want to waste days. You don't want to have like, okay, today I'll just go all out. I've been cutting for 5 days now, 6 days a week now. You don't want to have the day that just sets you back, because every week counts in a mini cut. So if you have a social occasion, either skip it or take your meal with you, or the day off, just make sure you eat less in terms of fats and carbs, train hard, get a session in, get cardio in, and save majority of your calories for the last meal. That way you're still able to, like I had a bunch of meals this week, or last week in general, because you know, it's summertime, that were out of my plan, but I still made them fit into the mini cut, okay? And then just make sure you take progress pictures, bro. Like pictures, tracking metrics will give you the most ROI long term anyways. But if you don't have pictures, if you don't have anything to look for progress, weigh-ins, metrics, measurements, pictures, you don't even know if you're making gains or not, right? So I'm telling you, if you actually lock in for the next just like 6 weeks, right, and dial in every single day, not only you build that discipline, that self-control, whatever you want, but also, yo, we lose that fluff, we feel juicy, we feel good, and then we look, you know, nice and jacked for Preeti. I know this was a lot of information, right, which is awesome. Hopefully it helped you, right, and hopefully you're gonna get your mini cut in. If you have any questions, let me know. But also I'm gonna be dropping like a PDF guide for the mini cut. If anyone needs the PDF guide, because my handwriting here is not the beautifulest, right, if that's a word, just drop me a DM on Instagram. Say, yo bro, can I get the mini cut guide? Or just say mini cut in the description below, or like comment below or on Instagram. Drop that DM and I'll send you the mini guide for free. And that should be hopefully all you need to get your mini cut on.